Welcome to the Cinema Fans. This is our new YouTube channel, and I'm Victor Barosio, and this is...
I'm Bradley Davis.
And today we're reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.2. So I would say let's get right into it. And go ahead, let's list first the pros, what we liked about the movie, and then we'll get into what the cons are.
And then we'll do a summary of what we felt about the movie, and then we'll give our overall grade. We'll be doing it out of 10. So first off, like you said, we're going to be talking about the pros of the movie. The first one up is Baby Groot. I think this was no surprise coming into the movie. He was a scene stealer in everything that he was in. There is one con that I have a little bit about him. We're not talking about the cons yet, but there's some really cool scenes with Baby Groot. There's a lot of moments where you go, "Aww." He's just such an adorable character, and he's lots of fun to see on the screen during the movie.
To Drax, the Destroyer. Now the Destroyer. He's also very comedic and steals the show also.
Yeah, I thought that he was the comedic relief in the movie. He had so many. I mean, from the first one, I think that what James Gunn and the people making the film really realized was that, Dave Bautista ain't really like a dramatic actor. Mm-hmm. They really brought the best out of him in this movie and in the previous Guardians of the Galaxy movie by really making him a really comedic force, and he really shows on screen that he's just so dynamic in these movies, and that he can really bring a lot of gravitas to the team and the movie as well. So I thought that he was yet again, just like Baby Groot, scene
now Peter and his father. Now, I don't think it's a spoiler that Peter did find his father. They did show it in the trailer. And, I mean, this is what the plot is built around. Yeah. Now, the pro about this, it's like a good family reunion type of feeling you get when, Peter, Star-Lord, and his father reunite at last. And it's a really touching moment. And at the moment that they reunite, you really feel like bonded to him and his father. You're like, oh, he found his dad. Oh, how nice. And
the bounce off him, them coming together and finally meeting each other for the first time, and Ego kind of being that deadbeat dad who's never been around or anything, and he wants to build that relationship with Peter, and I thought that was such a good relationship between both of them, and I think that it worked really well for what they did in the movie, and yeah, I really enjoyed Kurt Russell as Ego, and Chris Pratt. He always kills it in almost any movie he's in, and I just love their relationship and their chemistry on screen together.
Nebula and Gamora. Now, they're sisters. Now they had a lot of scenes together, like where it was based around them, and I mean it worked pretty well. Like you could see the bondage, and you could see really how Nebula felt about having Gamora as a sister, what it was like, and I enjoyed like the kind of take the director took on that, because it was really, it kind of reminded me of me and my siblings almost. And then Nebula says some really, on her final scenes, she really says some very interesting stuff that I think you won't want to miss.
Yeah, like the bounce off that, what he's talking about, I don't really think it's a big spoiler, but their connection with Thanos, it plays a really big part in their relationship and how they both feel towards each other. And I thought they did a really good job of showing that sisterhood and kind of the denial that Nebula has. And the thing with Nebula is that in the first movie, I didn't really enjoy her character. I thought she was the weaker part of the first Guardians. But James Gunn really wrote this character and strengthened her character even more in this one. And the relationship between her and Gamora really blossoms through the movie, and I enjoyed her. I want to see more of this character and their relationship between each other, Gamora and Nebula. So yeah, I really enjoyed the relationship, and it was a big pro in the movie.
Yondu, blue guy, if you don't know him, the only blue guy in the movie with the flying wand stick thingy. He's really a standout character in this movie. Like in the first one, he was also near the end. He was a standout, but they didn't give him in-depth story to him. But this one, I feel like they really do. So his character is very detailed in this one. You feel that it's more alive. He's more connected to the audience. He's definitely a great character in this movie. He's definitely it feels like he's part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, just like what he said, they really brought his character they brought some new depth to the character with Yondu and his relationship even between Peter and even Rocket Raccoon at one point. They really bring this character some new depths that you didn't really get from the first movie. And he had in the first one he has a really badass scene, and in this one he has a badass scene. I guess that's and it is a really cool scene as well. So yeah, Yondu, he's a really cool character. I really enjoyed him. I can't forget the guy. I forget the name of the actor's name that plays Yondu. Michael Roker, I think that's his name. He's great in the movie, and yeah, he was a still shower.
Times. So I mean, Baby Groot, Drax, and Yondu, Nebula. You feel like those are more of the main characters, more than Peter and Star-Lord. The thing with this movie was it didn't really have a direct plot line. You never felt like the plot line was in a linear order. Like it went from point A to the final point. It was kind of like, it bounced diagonally, it went back even, and then it finally got to the point that they were trying to make. And it definitely delivered. It was a little bit of a different take of a superhero movie, but just slightly. Yeah, I mean, the only thing with it was not linear, but I liked it. It was intriguing.
Yeah, and to go off that too, the storyline, it really doesn't kick in until the third act, and what they really try to do is in the third act, they try to really, I mean, for the most part, what I would say about the movie is it is more of a Star-Lord and Ego, the Living Planet, played by Kurt Russell. It's really their story, but their story doesn't really kick in until the third act of the movie, and it's kind of annoying because, you're waiting for this something, like some kind of storyline to get through, and you're sitting there with like in the first hour, like, okay, this is fun. Mm-hmm. It's a fun movie, but there's nothing really happening. It's just they're doing this, they're doing that, but there's not really any conflict or anything. It's just them doing things and just having fun and being the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I have no problem with. But at the same time, I want a storyline or something that really connects all this at the same moment. But I mean, it's a big nitpick, but it's still a big part of the movie because you still want to have a good story in the movie.
The only thing, I think I like the way they did it. It wasn't your typical superhero movie. Move on to the visuals of this movie. They're spectacular. You can never tell. I could never tell that there was any type of CGI. There's some movies, a lot of movies that you can tell here and there where the CGI, the GFX director's kind of maybe tired at the time. I'm not sure what's happening when the CGI is bad.
Yeah.
But no, in this movie, it's great throughout. You can never tell, oh, that's, what is that? Someone, did they just let a kid draw that? No, this movie really, great CGI. You feel like there's so many more planets than Earth.
Yeah, and even to go off that, the opening scene, I won't give too much away, but it involves a younger Kurt Russell, and he looks so good. He looks very young. Yeah. This guy's about almost 70 years old, and he looked like he was about 20. The visual effects that they did on that scene was so groundbreaking, because I know that they're trying to push towards that, trying to get these actors to look younger and whatnot, and they really delivered on this one. You couldn't even tell that it was visual effects on Kurt Russell. You felt like they went back in time, pulled Kurt Russell out of Escape from New York, and put him in this movie. It was really, really cool to see those visual effects come to life. The opening credits to this movie, I had a big issue with it. It was cute. It was very cute. I'm not going to give away what it is, but I felt like it went on for too long. I felt like it could have been a minute tops, but it went on for almost 3 minutes. And you had some giggles, the audience was giggling a little bit, and then I felt myself sitting in the chair going, okay, no one's laughing. We're just watching this unfold, and it's not really funny anymore. That was the one thing that really got on my nerves at the beginning, was that they focus on this one character, and it's cool to watch, but it's not anything oh my god, everybody's laughing, everyone's having a good time. You get a couple giggles, and then that's it.
The Golden People. Now you've seen the trailer, and they're definitely just someone in the studio, back in the studio, said, let's get, like, I really feel like we need some golden stuff. And someone was like, how can we do this? Someone's like, let's make a planet where everything's gold. And then boom, they just threw that in there, and they made an arc based on the gold people. Now the gold, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there was no need for the golden people to be there. Like if they were just regular aliens, yeah, but they're gold people, and it just kind of makes you feel weird, uncomfortable. Like why are they gold?
Yeah, and then like they pop in at random moments where you're like, oh, why are you here? Just get away.
Now me, I really enjoyed this movie. You know, I went into this movie hoping that it was gonna have a great soundtrack. Now it didn't deliver as much as the first one it did, but the music was okay. It didn't disappoint me by any means. And the action, it disappointed me slightly. There was not as much action as maybe the first one had. This definitely had a much more comedic take, way more comedic than the first one did. And I did not mind that. Just if they would have had one or two more action scenes, I would have felt like the movie was definitely more of a whole. But I mean, I really enjoyed the movie, and I think anyone that goes in there and sees it, they will really enjoy the movie. So I'm gonna give this movie a 7 out of 10. And it was a great movie. It was a great watch. I did not dislike too many things about it. So now you, Bradley.
Yeah, for me, this one doesn't really surpass the first Guardians of the Galaxy, but I still had a lot of fun with this movie. There's some great characterizations with, even sometimes Drax, but mostly Peter and Ego, Nebula and Gamora and Yondu. They really have their time to shine. The music, yeah, it's not as great as the first one, but how are you going to beat out that first soundtrack? The soundtrack was amazing. Probably one of the best soundtracks used in a film. But the visuals were great. I felt like some of the action scenes were kind of mediocre, but for the most part, there was like 2 to 3 really good action scenes that really brought me into the movie even more. The cons don't really outweigh the pros, but there are some cons that, like I said, with the storyline, doesn't really kick in until the third act. The golden people, they're kind of there. They don't really do anything. And just overall, I had a great time with this movie. You should definitely see it opening weekend. It's just a good time. One thing that I didn't really touch on was that this movie doesn't really push forward anything in the MCU. Like it doesn't really build on anything. It's just really, I felt like if this movie wasn't a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, it could stand on its own. But that's not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed the movie. Go see it, and I'm going to give it an 8.3 out of 10.
All right, and I think that'll wrap it up. Now, make sure you catch us on our next movie review, whenever that is. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you later.